Hi, James again. This is part two of my testimony about my wife and I, my love of my life, Rachel. Anyhow, as I finished off the last video, you will notice that we lived at Riverview Townhomes. And when I moved there, um, she and I were okay and thriving and doing pretty well. It was pretty good. And, like I said, the aggression kicked in, the alcohol, and I was drinking about 20 pints of Spark energy beverages, and I was heavily drinking, and eventually I got hurt on the job. I had a ductwork that was coming down on a duct lift because I was a duct man watching HVAC at the Northwest Hospital at the pharmacy, and the ductwork, the hanger wasn't attached properly in the back, and it was about 250-pound stainless steel reinforced angled duct. Must have been a return or something off the trunk line, and I was doing demolition at the pharmacy, and I had people underneath me. I was running the show. I had a the main foreman on the job was Paul, no, Jack Piquet, I think it was, and then Robert Sigmund. Um, awesome guys. Loved working with them. I would have been better if I wasn't under alcohol influence and all that. But anyhow, what happened was I cut the front strap and it hit that jack and it was coming down. I had a gentleman underneath the ladder, and it was gonna crush him. And I was like, no, not on my call. I ended up getting I don't know if you can see it, but that big old scar going down my arm. It ripped through my arm, and I had blood squirting everywhere, and I mean everywhere. And anyhow, I get rushed to the emergency room, this and that, and or not emergency room, but the ER and all that, and then they get me all stitched up. But then I'm laid out of work and all that, and oh, big old mess with that, big old mess. And I got put on workman's compensation, and you know, at all that time, my wife Rachel and I, we lived next door to people. We had babysitters, and we would go to Club Baja, Anguana Cantina, Bar of Baltimore back in the day. And she and I loved to sit there and mingle. It was under the impression in my mind. I was like, hey, how about a three-way? You know what I'm saying? Hook up, do a three-way. That really didn't take off too well because the alcohol that I drank consumed my mind to enough where I just like put her back as second best, and I kind of ignored her, and I didn't know I was doing it, and I made her feel like she was second best when she was number one to me. And just like the alcohol consumed me with my son James, you know, Daddy, sorry, and I apologize, and I know if you ever see this one day, and I know it's kind of hard to watch, but I'm sorry if I ever made you feel like you wasn't anything important to me, or if I ever put you down and said that you wasn't my son, or just tried to disown you. I mean, there was a point where I was under alcohol influence, and I apologize, James, if ever heard that I told your mom that I wanted a DNA test or something like that, and if you can accept my apology one day, that I could show you that I could be a better father, and that I'm sorry. I do love you, and I love your sister Faith, and I'm sorry that at that particular time I put her above you and treated her like a princess and gave you kind of a cold shoulder at that moment. And if I never speak to you or you never speak to me, I'll always love you. And you're my boy, regardless. Daddy's proud of you. And I'm sorry if I ever didn't make you feel like you were special, but let me tell you something. Between you and your sister, I did everything I could before the alcohol. And some of the times we giggled and I changed all them diapers of yours and your sister. Oh, I'm sorry. Um, I loved you guys, everything I had. I mean, you guys, when you were 9 months or whatever, you guys walked to me first and called me daddy. Those are the first words out of yours and your sister's mouth. Um, I'd give anything sometimes to rewind time. Anything sometimes. And I'm sorry the alcohol got a hold of me and not a hold of you guys by me picking you up and loving you the way I should have at that time. Anyhow, get back to this story here, the testimony. Um, okay. Well, anyhow, um, upon doing that, playing around, drinking, all that, it got to the point where, of course, the aggression kicked back in, and all that drinking. Rachel left me again for the second time. I continued to drink and everything. I was messing around with women, having threesomes and one night stands, and going to other bars, clubs, and eventually time went by. And at that particular time, I owned a 45 caliber Ruger, and I mean, when she was gone one night with the alcohol on me, I felt so bad that I lost her again the second time. That I literally got on my hands and knees that night, drunk, shaking in tears out of missing her so much and the way my life was going. I put that barrel of that gun in my mouth and I was going to pull the trigger. But I said a prayer that night and the Lord answered me. My Abba. I dropped that gun in front of me. I rolled up in a fetal position and I went to sleep. The next morning, I surrendered the gun back to Clyde's sporting goods shop or whatever on Hamsbury Road, where I purchased that gun. The 45 caliber wasn't worth my life or my wife or anything, or not even seeing my kids. I mean, eventually she and I did get back together again. And this time she was living over in Haven Street, close to where I was working in Sessa, the company where it was. And she was staying with her sister Katie. And we were living in their basement. And at that particular time, I didn't have a vehicle because it went up. I had a hit and run back in 07 when she did leave me around that time. Hit the back of a car and a telephone pole and kept going. That car was totaled. I mean, I was doing a beer run at from a party. And anyhow, I used to ride a 10 speed from Haven Street all the way downtown to, I think, Broadway and Fayette. Well, Broadway, where Hopkins was. And I was working on Hopkins doing the HVAC. And I did that for a while, this and that. And then she and I moved eventually out of the basement of her sister because they actually relocated somewhere else. We eventually moved into a place over in Northeast Baltimore off of Echodale Drive. And we stayed there for a while. I still had the job at that particular time, but the alcohol influence that was inside of me started building up again. I got written up like 27 times in 1 month because of being tardy for work or other things that occurred. I had lost my job because I went to work drunk. And needless to say, we were lucky enough and fortunate enough to still have that room for rent on Echodale. And, I'd get my hands on a couple dollars here and there, and instead of going to get food, I wanted to go get alcohol. And, living circumstances was not the best, to be honest with you, but once again, I was back to it again, drinking alcohol. It took the icing on the cake that one night to happen, and we went for a bus ride downtown. And yeah, downtown's one of the places I did propose to her initially, too. I re-proposed to her downtown. I believe it was on July 4th in front of people. But, why not? But we got into a horse and carriage ride that night when we were downtown, and we rode all the way to Fells Point to a place called the Green Turtle, which is no longer there. And I'm heavily drinking this and that, singing "The Piano Man" by Billy Joel, this and that when it came on there, and you know, and I get kicked out of the bar because I'm so intoxicated that I was under impression that my driver's license was still left in there, and I end up turning around and getting yanked or pulled from behind. So I turned around real quick. I didn't know what happened. I pushed. It was an officer, Baltimore City Southeast District police officer. Anyhow, I blacked out because of the alcohol. After reading the reports, found out that I put one cop in a headlock and was slamming his face into his own cruiser. The other one was trying to beat me with the baton in the back of my head. They had to call backup on me 2 times that night, to the point after it took the final hit that broke the back of my tooth and my mouth, and then my chin went straight down face first into the cobble street, and then I awoke in the hospital, realizing I put 4 of them in the hospital, and I ended up being in the hospital myself. I sat in the holding cell at Baltimore City Detention Center, BCDC, over in East Baltimore. And I was in my mind thinking, what happened to Rachel? She didn't know anything about the city. She took a walk from Highlandtown over southeast all the way to northeast Baltimore where we were staying. I believe that's where she went. I'm not sure. Or it would have been somewhere else. I can't remember. Apologize, Rachel. I do listen. Bear with me, please. If you're watching this, and I know you're gonna watch it, but she walked it all by herself in that dark. Little old 5'5", beautiful brown-eyed, blonde bombshell of mine. In the city of Baltimore. Imagine that. We all know city of Baltimore is such a wonderful place. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, it's one of the most dangerous cities in America and the world. Anyhow, I sat there for 37 days waiting for a court case, going through bail review, having it hiked up on me. My father saying that I was a flight risk, so I couldn't get out on bail bonds. Giving trays up, writing letters to Rachel, this and that, and all that good nature. When I got out, it was freezing cold. I was at North Side District Courthouse off of, you know, Harford Road and North Avenue. And I got released, 500 community service hours, back of a trash truck in Baltimore City I had to complete for restitution. I had to do alcohol treatment facility program, which I did, and drug program, did that. I was on probation for PBJ for 3 years, so it was pro and probation, and of course I had to do supervised probation. So, but when I did get back after leaving the courthouse that day, I went to Echodale, and my letters were stacked up on the table that I sent. But there was no Rachel. She was gone. My baby was gone. And I walked that night, and I got the bus, and I went to I called my uncle because it was freezing cold. When I got out, I had a pair of jean shorts on, some longer socks to keep my legs warm, and a pair of sneakers, and a black T-shirt. I was freezing to death. It was snowing out when I got out of there. Anyhow, I called my uncle up. He went and picked me up, and they were living over a place called Arrow Acres in Middle River, Maryland. And no, eventually I sit there for about a month, and I got my box of the stuff I had in my pocket, my Boost mobile phone with a chirp on it, like where you at, hit the side, and you to talk. Rachel loved that phone. Anyhow, back in the day they had the little chirp with Moto Rolla. Anyhow, I'm sitting there at my uncle's house and doing like Monopoly online game, and of course I checked my email one time, and Rachel wrote me an email. We started talking this and that, and then of course my uncle and everybody was like, you don't need that, you don't need her. But I'm writing her, and I'm like, and it just stopped. She stopped writing. But at that particular time, and it was over. And now that I talk to her now, because but she told me that she lost internet connection, this and that, whatever. She couldn't write me back. That's what she told me. So anyhow, I jumped from a frying pan into an oven kind of situation. I got involved with another person named Dina, and I thought maybe I could find love in an older woman. She was 14 years older than me, and she had 3 children prior with another marriage. So I stayed with her, and I was friends at the beginning, and I thought maybe friend with benefits, no strings attached, right? Well, I hook up with people sometimes, and I get my emotions get the best of me, and I'm not a shallow guy by all means. She was a big girl. I mean, she was a plus size girl. I'm not gonna put weight out there like that in situations, but like I said, she was 14 years older than me, so I was kind of open minded about it, and I had a conscience, and we started getting involved sexually and intimacy and all that, whatever, and after being talks with her, and I felt a little bit like it wasn't working. About 2 months after being with her, I'm getting ready to walk away, and she tells me she's pregnant. I'm like, oh, another kid. And yeah, I end up with another kid. I stuck around longer than I wanted to, be honest with you, but I stuck around for my child. Her name's Haley. That's my other baby. Blonde hair, blue eyed, or she matches the eyes of daddy. Sometimes my eyes turn from green or blue. Mostly blue though. That's why my Rachel calls me Baby Blue. But anyhow, I stuck around with that marriage for the 19 years. I felt like I was just a workhorse, that nobody really loved me. I was still heavily drinking alcohol, doing some things I shouldn't have done. Needless to say, my life was a living hell for 19 years being in that marriage, but I kept a smile and did what I could and supported my family with Dina. I would have to say November 24th of 2025, the Lord came upon me quick. After me drinking so much and developing fatty liver, kidneys were starting to fail, started twitching my eye, on the verge of having a heart attack and dying. Driving around after getting hurt, putting arms through window panes with triple pane glass, ripping my arm open again, driving for 3 hours, just bleeding to death. He came upon me and I heard that voice. And it was a muffle at first, and then it was like talking to you and I. Anyhow, I went through 2 years of developing and getting close to the Lord, and one fateful night, I'm on my stuff, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm irritated because Dina's father was nothing about only collecting money from me. He was a money hungry prick, and I hope he sees this. You're a money hungry prick. I forgive you, but the Lord's not going to forgive you. And your family, they're not going to forgive you. And I'm not sugarcoating it at all. You're forgiven, but the Lord's it's in His hands. So what comes for you and your family, the Lord will handle you for what you guys did to me. Aggressively causing me stress and taking advantage of me because of my kindness and my abilities to take care of your family and your daughter and kids that was not even biologically mine. I stepped it up and was a step-up daddy. And Haley, I'm sorry that I'm not the best father all the time again. And I'm glad that we still have chances to talk and communicate. But anyhow, November 24th, after every single year, my rent getting raised $100 or more a year, not percentages of little percentages, but he would raise. His name is Roger Kinzer, by the way. I'm gonna put that out there. Come at me, dare you? Because I'm protected by God. But anyhow, like I said, he would raise my rent every time I turned around. Not to mention, I'm the only person that's ever paid rent at that location, ever tried to fix anything at that location, and I was taking care of his family, which was mine because I was married to her at that particular time. I got married to her in 2014. But anyhow, I'm sitting there after being with her for 19 years, coming into 20, and the Lord spoke upon me, getting heavy into my Bible. Okay, so, it is what it is. One night, the cookie crumbled. It was November 24th, 2025. I stepped away from a family after almost 20 years because of the aggression and everything. The stress and the verbal and mental problem I was going through. I took a bag of clothes. It was a brown paper bag. No, it wasn't even clothes. It was 4 pairs of boxers, my dental products. As you know, I have an upper partial. Not going to sugarcoat that. Alcohol doesn't do you well. See? Smile. Okay, anyhow. I had my 2 Bibles, my Israel Bible, and I had my New King James Version Bible, and all my family pictures that was left behind to me after my father passed away during 2020. I don't know what came over me other than the Lord. And you may not say it's God or not, but you can believe what you want to believe. I walked out that night after signing the back of my title in my truck so they would have a way to get around. And I just walked in the snow and ice that night in the dark around 9:45 p.m. from Dundalk. I walked to Merritt Boulevard in East Point, not knowing where I was going to go, what I was going to do. I just walked blindly on that water, just like Peter did to Jesus. I'd say from that particular point, 7 months up to the point now, actually no, 11 months up to the point now. Next month it's going to be a year. I've been alcohol free. I lost 100 pounds. I was up to 280 pounds. I lost 100 pounds in 11 months. I went through people coming to me here and there and wanted to be involved with me. I heard the Lord say that He's bringing love back into my life. That's true. And that I had purpose. I would say a little over a month or so ago, I was online and for some reason it came upon me to write Rachel and send her some old pictures that I had of the kids. Because I'm starting to write a book about my life. And she was part of the chapter, but I had it all twisted. Because the story I told you in the beginning is what I didn't know on the part 1 of this video to the part 2 about how I treated her. And I always thought that she was the problem and only the problem and the big cheater. But there was one point when she did leave me. It was in between the separation. You can call it cheating on her or not. I still was emotionally connected to her and I slept with another. So who was the bad guy? At that particular time, it was me. So anyhow, she and I started talking on Messenger recently, about a month and a half ago. After being separated for 19, almost 20 years, the Lord brought her back into my life. And we're going strong. I feel more alive now, alcohol free. I'm sorry about the emotions, but alcohol free, drug free, and no influence around us. Whew, he's been working hard on me and her the entire time. She loved me the entire time. And yes, she got remarried and she moved to Ohio. But apparently her significant other had decided he wanted to be a homosexual. He picked up alcohol, apparently, I hear, and started ignoring her. And she just felt like a Stepford wife, I guess. Apparently, they had an open relationship, and she could talk to whoever she wants or do whatever, and he could. Anyhow, needless to say that she and I has been communicating, and it's been like heaven. Heaven. And, we're going to crack it off. We're going to get remarried. We're going to do it. I'm setting a goal with her, or not a goal, but we're setting a marriage to be November 24th. Like, we were married in November 24th of 2003. We're going to do it in 28. But this time it's going to be at a wedding in a church. And God's going to be right in the center of it. If you saw pictures of me 11 months ago, you'd be like, this is a totally different guy. The Lord brought me back to the love of my life. And you don't always get second chances in life. And you want something bad enough, you reach out and get it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to make her my wife again. I'm going to make her Rachel Lee Mary Nowicki once again. I know her last name says Chase at the moment, but I have nothing against you, brother. But sometimes you got to follow your heart. And the Lord will guide you. And everything in the universe will play out the way it should. I give thanks to God in the way universe did everything. But she and I make plans to come back together very soon. Very soon. I'm going to make her my wife again. And do it better this time. I now know how to love myself better and take care of myself. To love another the way I should have loved her. And I'll tell you what. This time, I'm not taking my eyes off of her and sinking like Peter did when he did to Jesus. I'm going to walk and I'm going to hold her, love her, cherish her, and never put a hand back on her. Please, whatever you do, and this is speaking from an alcoholic perspective, try to put the bottle down so you can pick your family up. It will destroy you. Like I said, it's been 19 years between me not being with her and the Lord's bringing her back home. I call her my Luna baby. Love yourself so you can love others. Put down the influence and don't listen to other people's opinions. At the end of the day, you have God. And universe plays it all out. Anyhow, that's my testimony.